Hi everybody, I'm Dr. Tutti and I welcome you again on my channel, Dr. Tutti. Today the topic of my presentation is going to be premium IOL. I was always and I'm still very interested in eye optics, and not because I'm specializing in refractive cornea, but I'm also interested in refractive surgeries with IOL implantation. I'm not doing cataract surgeries, but lens designs or these IOL designs was always a topic of my interest. Even at the congresses, I was always approaching this IOL booth and grabbing brochures. I was checking new designs, new innovations in all this IOL revolutionary world, yes, let's say like that. So today, premium IOL, I'm going to talk about what is premium IOL actually, and what are the benefits of premium IOL, and what are disadvantages or side effects of premium IOL, and some new publications about premium IOL as well. So, introduction. What is the benefit of multifocal IOL? This, first of all, it reduces spectacle dependency and improves distance and near vision. And of course, not every patient is appropriate for multifocal IOL surgery. So I just started from multifocal IOL surgery. Let me just remind you that there are monofocal IOL, which is a traditional IOL after cataract surgery, and multifocal. So basically, multifocal IOLs are premium IOLs. So when we talk about multifocal IOLs, there are two kinds of IOLs, as we can see here, diffractive and refractive. So the general optical principles of multifocal IOLs are that this IOL provides multi-zone refractive lens design, aspheric lens design, and there is also another type like a diffractive lens design. So what is multi-zone refractive lens design? This lens design provides 3 different zones. That's why we say multi-zone refractive lens design. Another type is a second design, is a diffractive lens design, which provides 2 zones, optical zones. And there is also aspheric lens design, third design method, which is being used as an aspheric optic region by increasing the depth of field of the lens. Of course, we're talking about depth of vision. So, what is bifocal diffraction IOL? The multifocal IOL splits the incoming light into non-deviated light and deviated light. So this splitted light is about 40% each. Another 20% is being lost to higher order refraction. So this is a bifocal IOL, which provides vision for distance and for near. So just some points about this bifocal IOL. Some light, as it's written here, some light is concentrated on the focal point for distance. 80% of incoming light is focused, which means 40% for near vision and 40% for distance vision. And another projected focal point also exists on the retina. So this is side effects of the multifocal IOLs. Sometimes patients experience this kind of, let's say like that, not really nice experience after surgery, which can be simulated halos and glare or simulated contrast loss. So this, as we can see here on this photo with a evening photo on the road with lights, and this is how the patient actually can see the lights. So on the top left, this is the normal photo, how normally it should be seen, and on the lowest photo on the right, this is how the patient see if the patient has halos and glare. And of course, besides that, it's not really nice to see the light like that. It actually also can cause many other troubles, like problems of driving at night, and actually it's really dangerous to drive with this kind of vision. So, and as I also said, distance vision and near vision, what causes halos and glare? So I just wanted to know when the lens passes the lights, on the retina we get 2 focuses, and this and the brain chooses the best focus it gets by the retina. So on the retina, when we get the perfect vision for distance, another focus for near, for example, we get just in front of this focus for distance, and this focus projects on the retina and can be a reason of a halo and glare for not most of the times, but in some of the cases. So this is what causes this side effect in patient. So, and how do multifocal IOLs work? There is a diffractive lens, as I said already, with 2 focuses. And this lens offers 2 focal points, as I said, and it's being called bifocal lenses. And this lens has concentric rings with a small step height, and each step diffracts the light. So as you can see here on the left photo, you can see that there are rings, concentric rings on the surface of the lens, and this ring has step from one ring to another, and there is also the height of this step. And in these diffractive lenses, the step height is equal from ring to ring. So and what is refractive lens? Refractive lens offers more than 2 focal points, and basically in the modern world, every patient needs not only distance vision but also intermediate vision, because everybody now works on the computer, and especially even those who doesn't need actually intraocular lens implantation. Sometimes patients, they come to a doctor and ask that I need glasses for distance, for near, and also for the computer. So of course they understand that they will have 3 prescriptions, but this is what they need. And these 3 focuses actually for our daily life became really important for doing any activities we need actually in order to get information or just simply work. So, and as I said, refractive lens offers more than 2 focal points, and typically has two main foci, one for near and one for distance, and several additional foci for intermediate vision. Why I say several additional for intermediate vision, I will mention later when I will describe some examples of multifocal IOLs. So, and this is where it is, multifocal IOL examples. So this is different models, and you can see, so I'm really curious all the time when I see a new model, because for me personally, they look really beautiful, actually. So this is, for example, just one sample, and yes, I'm putting the brand name of the lenses, but I want to say that I have no financial interest in any shown product. So this is Technics Lens, and this is a bifocal diffractive IOL, and the diffractive bifocal lens splits the light evenly into 2 clear foci, 41% for near and 41% for far, and only 18% of light entering the lens is lost, is lost to higher order refraction. As we can see, the other 82% is being focused. And the key points of this lens, key characteristic, is that it's a foldable lens, is diffractive pattern across the lens, so whole surface of the lens has its refractive power, and it's slight prolate aspheric surface in order to improve contrast sensitivity, and excellent PCO performance, posterior capsular opacification, which is also one of the problems after intraocular lens implantation surgery. So just briefly, when I say aspheric surface, I want you to know there is also spheric lenses, so that's why aspheric surface actually I think is very important for every lens to have. I had once the discussion with my dear professor about that, and he said actually that every lens should be aspheric, and every aspheric lens should be implanted in the eye. Well, of course, there are also many other characteristics which should be considered. Another sample is Carl Zeiss Meditech. So here they say that 100% of light is being focused. For near 35% and 65% for far. So the idea behind this distribution is that distance vision is more important and two eyes can help each other for near vision. And this is just some samples of this lens. Another type of multifocal IOLs is the apodized lens. This kind of lens have different levels of diffraction across the lens. So what that means? So each concentric ring has a slightly decreased step height compared to the last. As I mentioned before, every ring has some step from another one. So like the height of the step was similar, for example, in another lenses which I was mentioning previously. But this lens, this specific lens, it has difference in height of these steps. As an example can be this Restore IOL from Alcon, and this lens has 3.6 mm central zone with 9 concentric diffractive rings, which means that all these rings are not on the whole surface of the lens, but there are just only 9 concentric diffractive rings. I mean, these rings are not on the whole surface of the lens, and this provides a smooth transition between near and far vision and also reach the pupil size. For example, at night when the patient is driving, the pupil dilates and provides the focused vision at distance for more distance dominance across the lens. And this is, for example, another multifocal IOL, Resume. And this lens offers a range of zones with different curvature for near and distance vision across the lens. That's why when I mentioned before that multifocal IOL provides more than 2, I meant that there are also more intermediate vision focuses which the patient might need, for example. And this lens is basically distance dominant lens. However, its concentric ring offer an alternate near distance focus which is correlated to pupil size. In bright conditions, when the pupil is small, the lens is distance dominant. As the pupil gets larger, the near distance focus is being alternated. And when someone is driving a car in a normal light, the IOL provides the good distance focus, but during the reading in the bright light, the small pupil provides poor near vision, and the lens provides good intermediate and distance vision. So as you can see here, the lens has 5 zones. Distance vision for daytime driving, the second is near vision for moderate and low light conditions, near vision for full range of light conditions, distance vision in moderate to low light conditions, and distance vision for night driving. But there are also some publications, and in general there is an opinion that this lens provides good distance vision and intermediate vision, and not many patients are happy with near vision actually. So, and this is another lens, Oculentis M+. So this multifocal refractive lens, there is no concentric rings on the surface of the lens. This lens has sector approach. It offers a near and a sector approach rather than concentric zones, as I described before. This means it will be pupil dependent. So on the surface of the lens, it's like it's split on 2 segments, for near and for distance vision. And this design actually gives us the feeling that, not only the feeling, but also the idea that it might be pupil dependent. However, there are already a few publications which proves that this lens is actually pupil independent. And this lens is aspheric, asymmetric, and with a distance vision zone and for near vision zone. And key characteristics of this lens is that it's a one-piece acrylic lens and it has biconvex optic with an aspheric posterior surface, and the optic and haptic have a 360-degree square edge and not rotationally symmetric. That's why the careful centration is crucial. So, which means that if the lens is not properly centered, it will cause the problems with visual faction later. So centering problems may occur due to issues with the capsular bag or because the lens is not centered properly regarding to the pupil. So it's really important to centrate this lens properly. And now I would like to share about some news or publications which were done in order to prove the efficacy and safety of this lens implantation. So for example here, so what is the most important thing? Of course, it's a visual quality and visual acuity. In 2015, Mogis, I hope I'm pronouncing this family name right, and if I'm not, I'm really sorry about that. Mogis et al. With his team published a work about implantation of a diffractive trifocal intraocular lens with 1 year follow-up. So you can find this publication in PubMed as an abstract, and it's published in Journal on Cataract and Refractive Surgery. So the conclusion of this article is that the trifocal IOL provided complete and stable visual restoration after cataract surgery during a 12 months follow-up with good levels of visual quality. Another work, for example, which also describes the results about visual quality and visual acuity is the work from Al-Khatib et al., also published in the same journal in this year, actually in 2017 May, with intra-individual comparative analysis of the visual performance after cataract surgery with implantation of a trifocal and a bifocal intraocular lens. Actually, it's a really interesting topic and really interesting article. I didn't read the whole article yet, only the abstract, but I believe it will be a really huge step if there would be more samples which will show more outcomes of this comparative analysis. So Al-Khatib report 3 patients who had femtosecond laser assisted cataract surgeries in both eyes, and the complicated eye had implantation of a bifocal IOL and the fellow eye of a trifocal IOL, and this inter-individual analysis shows that analysis shows that combining a trifocal and bifocal IOL can achieve high patient satisfaction and an overall good visual outcome. Yeah, I wish that further we could get, or we could read more articles about more patients which could describe the same results. So another article is bifocality versus trifocality, and this article was published last year in 2016 with Thomas Conan. And so basically in this article he says that from bifocal and trifocal there are always patients with some complaints, and some patients who get really perfect results, and some patients who still complain about contrast sensitivity and unwanted visual phenomena. So that's why I think there still should be more and more innovations in the design of multifocal IOLs in order to get great and perfect outcomes and to decrease maximum their side effects. So in order to make the more patients happy as much as possible. And of course, references about patient dissatisfaction. So for example, in the article of De Vries et al., also from Journal Cataract and Refractive Surgery, there is a dissatisfaction after implantation of multifocal intraocular lenses. So main symptom, as you can see here, main symptoms are unsatisfactory visual acuity, and it made 95% of all complaints, halo and glare, which made 38% of all complaints, and patients who has both of these kind of complaints were 33%. And primary causes is ametropia or astigmatism, which the patient had previously. Large pupil size, for example, may be a reason of this side effect later, or after surgery, PCO formation and decentration, of course, also is one of those reasons. So what is important with multifocal IOL implantation? First of all, we have to know that the most important thing is patient selection. Of course, not everybody not everybody may have the surgery of multifocal implantation, multifocal lens implantation. That's why it's very crucial to know which patient you have to offer it. So inclusion criteria, the patient with a strong desire to be spectacle independent and less spectacle dependent. And of course, patients with binocular implantation should be considered. You cannot implant in one eye multifocal IOL and in another one just monofocal. So it's if you want to get a really proper result, then both eyes have to be implanted with multifocal IOL. An exclusion criteria is a nighttime or professional drivers, as I already shown you the photo with their night lights and evening lights, when it can bring actually really big problems during driving, and it's just really dangerous. Overcritical patients, it's always actually good to define a really critical patient, because from their, I think from the way how they ask questions, the doctor can already estimate is it overcritical patient or not. Or patients, for example, who come already with a huge information from internet, they read there, and without being a doctor and reading a lot of information from internet as a patient, I think it is too much and complicated for both, I think, for patients and for a doctor. So that's why doctors have to avoid overcritical patients when he considers a multifocal IOL implantation. And the last is patients with diabetic retinopathy or glaucoma, of course, they don't have to be, they should not be in the list of multifocal IOL implantation patients. So there are also multifocal IOLs alternatives. You can just make monovision by correction with any kind of methods from refractive surgeries. Accommodating IOLs are also one of the options. And corneal approaches. So, what is monovision? Monovision, when you implant in one eye intraocular lens, for example, after cataract surgery, you implant one eye just monofocal IOL, and correct this for a distance. And we should know that this eye should be dominant eye. So when you consider the eye for distance correction with monofocal IOL implantation, you have to know that this eye should be a dominant eye. And later, after some time, you can implant another monofocal IOL to another non-dominant eye for near vision. And the difference between these two monofocal IOLs should be like 1.25 diopters, like myopic, of course. So this non-dominant eye after surgery should be 1.25 diopters more myopic than another dominant eye. And this is just some designs of accommodating IOLs, and the accommodating IOLs work by the optic shift principle, and the contraction of ciliary body should result in forward movement of the optic to allow for near vision. However, at the moment there is a little proof that the current accommodative IOLs have relevant movement actually, but the designs are really beautiful, as I said. And general approaches, and one of those general approaches are these coronal surgeries, for example, Presby LASIK. And all these approaches are still exploratory, and the main idea behind the corneal approaches is to change refractive properties of the cornea. For example, Presby LASIK is for creating different zones. I don't know if you can see it clearly on the slide, but here you can see these different kind of zones of refraction on the surface of the cornea. And here corneal inlays and rings. So corneal inlays and rings are changing the structure of the cornea and influence the refraction. And of course, future studies are still required for these procedures. This was all about premium IOLs and general information. I hope you find it informative, and after this presentation you have kind of a picture about premium IOLs already. Later I will talk about more specific topics related to IOLs, and in general I will make also a presentation about the eye optics. So subscribe to my channel and keep yourself updated. Thank you for watching this video. I'm wishing you a good day. Bye.